This is my daughter Charanjit, and I just wanted to share a little story. 3 years ago, when she was about 5 years old, I wrote a blog post sharing kind of my thoughts about watching her growing up and how she was copying or mirroring all the different princesses and different women that she was seeing in the media, in the movies. As part of this blog post, I shared the idea of, well, what if we just created some simple animation or moving images, and we did like one of those a month, and how much effect that we could have in creating that identity for these girls who are growing up. And a few days after I posted that blog post on Mr. SikhNet, we received an anonymous donation, and that was the start of the KAUR project.
Let me tell you about the character of Saibang Kaur, how she evolved. We came up with this character, Saibang, but originally she was actually, more like 8 or 9 years old. She was much younger. And in the summer of 2013, one of the young women in our community, Hari Kaur, who's in college, came in, and they wanted to take it to another level. So Saibang Kaur became a teenager at that point, and she was dealing with very teenage problems. She wanted to go to a concert and her mom didn't want her to, and she was an honor student at school, but there was competitiveness with other, kids in the classroom. And we kind of envisioned that she had this whole alternate reality, that she would meditate and go to this other universe, and her kirpan would have special powers, and her little cat became a lion, and she would have adventures in this etheric realm that would help her deal with her problems in her normal life. But when we looked at that idea, it was like, wow, that would take $100,000 to really create all of the episodes. It was way beyond our budget. And so we kind of sat back and kind of got back to what Gunamastic Singh's blog was really about. And that's where we got back to My Bago.
When we first started talking about animation, I was very interested. And so I took it upon myself to research how to animate, and I started watching animations and thinking about how do they do that. And I found a lot of resources online, and I kind of learned how to animate by looking online. The kind of animation that we're doing is called puppet animation. So it's not like the Disney films that they used to make where they draw 24 frames a second. That's a ton of work. It took tons of people years to complete, and now they have 3D stuff with Pixar, and that's also really involved. And so what we're doing is much more limited. It's called puppet animation, which is basically just you take a character in layers and you move him across a timeline. So you don't have to redraw everything every second. So that's a really good way to save time and resources when making an animation. It's more simple, but it still works. It still has a good impact. So when I first started looking in how to do an animation, I took one of our old Saibang scripts, and I did like a 1-minute take of it with rough art just to see how it works. And that kind of gave me the experience to know roughly how the animation process works. And I used that experience to help Hadijot with the mother hen story.
I've been in charge of the audio story section at SikhNet, the audio stories for children, and so which we now have over 100 of. So we took the audio stories to the next level, and we made the red hen story, which was made as a preparation and research project for the My Bago story. And so what we learned is what programs to use and how to animate, which is a very intense process, a very minute process. And we learned how to coordinate with artists and how to, that is another huge part, is coordinating with other people and how to fit that in with your project and your story and your storyboard. And I already had the expertise and a lot of connections with how to, the voices for the audio stories. So it wasn't just the huge amount of effort to make this particular project. There was a whole project which also took a lot of time and all the audio stories. So there has been a lot of actually build up to make this My Bago story.
I'm in film school, I'm a senior in film school, and I've never done an animation before. So learning how to animate was a big help to me in my future career, because now I can take these skills I've learned animating and bring them into larger projects. So at SikhNet, they allowed me to work and learn at the same time, which was a great opportunity for me. So in this project, it started off in the writing phase. I was working with kind of an already outlined whole story they had ready by the time I started working. And then I converted that into like a script format. And after the writing, then we began storyboarding, so drawing out all the images that we were gonna then give to an illustrator to draw for us. We started to storyboard it out, and we took that storyboard, all the individual shots, cut them together, and made an animatic. So just like kind of a rough version of what the film's gonna look like. After we storyboarded, we started with the audio production. So we cast different people to play the different characters, and we would record them and then re-record them sometimes. So that was a whole process.
Recording?
If you want to be a scientist, if you want to go to the stars, if you have some longing, call on the Guru inside of you and he will give you the strength.
You know, I went to school in India for a long time, 12 years when I was a kid, and I think I'm a little bit of an auditory person. I enjoy accents, like all types of accents, so I just...
And do you speak any Hindi, Punjabi?
I do. I did, I should say. I was pretty good at Hindi when I was a kid, but time has passed.
Ready, go.
Good one, Martha.
So I became in charge of doing the Saibung animation, and so after I received the art from the illustrator that we hired, I began to animate it. And after we did the sound effects, then I added the music, so we got various tracks, and we wanted to have a different style for the Saibung and a different style for the Mai Bago part.
It was now the time of the 9th Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur, and her and her family went to receive the darshan from the Guru. Guru Tegh Bahadur gave his life so people could live the way they want to live. And
can you share the story of how you got involved in this project?
Yeah, it all started with my own degree project, Nirvair, which I made, and I entered into a competition with you. Yeah, after getting an exposure from that, I got from you that you have a project. So I was overjoyed, like what I wanted to do is being given to me on the plate. So I was really happy and I accepted it at that time only.
And you put in a lot of extra time that you weren't necessarily getting paid for.
Yeah, because it's like the whole process was a fun part for me, because it's the thing that I wanted to do. So money was not an issue. I always wanted to serve for my community and what I always wanted to share with people.
We wanted to spend a little bit of extra time. We put in, extra hours after work on our weekends and stuff, because we wanted to push this animation to the next level, beyond what the mother hen story was, for example. So we wanted it to be a lot more engaging and a lot more expressive. So we put our extra time into it to make those eyebrow movements and the gestures and the facial expressions to convey the message better. So overall, this project, even though it's just a 20-minute kind of simple animation, it did take us from start to finish, from the script to the completed product, about a year. And that's because we're busy doing all kinds of other projects as well. And it's also because any kind of animation, it just takes a lot of time.
When we looked at our resources in terms of the donation we received and in terms of what we could devote, from our own time and our own funds to this, we thought, okay, what we can probably pull off is a 20-minute animation. So this isn't a full-length movie. This is a very short, simple 20-minute animation, but that's kind of the steps we took internally to get to KAUR.
I'd like to personally extend my heartfelt thanks to the anonymous donor who made this beautiful film possible. It took a lot of work to make it, and if you'd like to see more like this one, we'd love to make them, but we do need your support. So if you'd like to sponsor a project like this, email me at guruka@sikhnet.com, and I'd love to have your help with it. I want to direct your attention to some of the other great content for kids on SikhNet, the SikhNet audio stories for children, and the game Karma, the Ogre's Curse, in which you learn how to pay off your karma by doing seva and meditating. Thanks so much for your support.
There you go.
I can't say it.
No, that was good.
That was good.
That was good. Let's just do it again.
Okay.
Be closer though, closer.
Yeah.
Alright. Do I snap?
Just go for it.
Why
Slower. Do that. It's like slower.
Okay.
Go for it.
Why
This one's tough. Alright,
Slow with, yeah, that's exactly.
3, 2, 1. I'll do a countdown for you. Ready? Alright, recording. Let's get a snap. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
That was good. All right.